Hi everyone, welcome to Kinesiology 2700, Stress Management for Healthy Living. It is based on the work from Unstressed, a book on emotional health and wellness by Dr. Elaine Doherty. This is Module 9, The Transformative Effects of Authentic Gratitude. Hi everyone, welcome to Module 7. This part is about the transformative effects of authentic gratitude. Gratitude, when it's effectively practiced, can be a totally transformative thing in your life. It's absolutely amazing what research has shown when gratitude has been practiced effectively. What we see is that grateful people report feeling more energetic, more alive, more enthusiastic, more determined, more alert, more attentive. The practice of gratitude has shown to increase vitality. It's showed grateful people that practice gratitude have actually been shown to exercise more regularly and to report fewer and less physically debilitating symptoms of depression. They have reported to feel better about life in general. The practice of gratitude has been shown to be effective in building psychological, social, and spiritual resources. It has shown people to be able to find resilience in the face of trauma. It's shown to reduce cortisol, the stress hormone that we talked about. It's shown to increase oxytocin, the bonding hormone that we talked about, and the primary hormone of your common connection system. It's shown to activate the social networks part of your brain. And one of the huge findings in research has shown that it really significantly cuts down on feelings of loneliness. So gratitude practiced in an authentic way is absolutely life transforming. However, what does that mean? What does it mean to have to be authentic when you're practicing gratitude? So what this session is going to do is kind of walk you through what authentic gratitude is, what are the necessary requirements for authentic gratitude, and then really a step-by-step process of being able to cultivate practices that really bring up authentic gratitude for you in your own life. So we're going to really dive into what constitutes authentic gratitude and how you can go through a step-by-step process to cultivate it in your own life. But first we're going to do something totally off topic. I'm going to test your powers to pay attention. Okay, so I want you to really pay attention because I'm going to really test your powers. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a group of people in blue shirts and a group of people in white shirts. And what I want you to do is I want you to count the number of times that the group with the white t-shirts pass the ball to somebody else with a white t-shirt. Not a white t-shirt to a blue t-shirt, not a blue t-shirt to a white t-shirt. Or a blue t-shirt to a blue t-shirt. I want you to really focus because I'm going to test your attention by seeing if you can figure out how many times somebody with a white t-shirt passes the ball to somebody else with a white t-shirt. So you got that? White t-shirt passing the ball to somebody else with a white t-shirt. So pay attention. Okay, so I'm not going to tell you the right answer yet because I'm always amazed at how many wrong answers I get. So we're going to try this again. Okay, so we're going to do this one more time just to make sure you really think you have the correct answer. So as you probably guessed, there were 15 passes in the video. But there were also a lot of other things going on in the video that you may or may not have seen. First of all, what about the gorilla? Wait a minute, let's look again. So here comes the gorilla kind of like sauntering through, even stopping and pausing in the middle and doing his own little version of the moonwalk on the way out. Okay, so maybe you saw the gorilla, but what about the changes in the colors of shirts on the colored team and also the change of sex from boy to girl? Oh my gosh, let's watch that again. Here we come, starting with boys in blue and ending with girls in green. Okay, so maybe you saw the gorilla. Maybe you even saw the shirt color change and the sex change. But what about the awning color change? Okay, so let's look at this for a minute. Let's see, we start with red, slowly fades to orange, then we go to violet, and finally end in blue. Okay, so let's go back to gratitude for a minute. For gratitude to be the transformative practice, like we talked about earlier, with all the beautiful changes that can happen for you, two absolute foundations have to be present. First of all, you have to see things in your life that you are grateful for. And secondly, you need to really experience the embodied sensation of what gratitude feels like. And so we're going to talk about both of those as we go along today. And then also I'm going to walk you through steps so you can be able to begin to feel it in your own life. So first of all, what about the gorilla? We all have something called inattentional blindness or selective attention. So let me explain this a little bit. Your brain only has so much capacity for conscious awareness, and that's a good thing. It's a really good thing. If you were consciously aware of everything that was going on in your environment, it would be psychological overload. You are wired to only pay attention to certain things at a given point in time. The second piece that's super, super, super important here is that anything, again, that you routinely focus on, you get better at focusing. Remember, any experience, including your attention, creates the capacity by wiring neural nets to be able to do more of that same thing. So anything that your attention is on constantly or consistently or repeatedly just wires in you the capacity to see more of the same. So let's break this down a little bit more. What is attention? Well, attention is often defined as like clear and vivid possession of the mind. In other words, when you have your attention on something, that's what your focus is. So it implies that you are withdrawing your attention from some things and then really focusing on other things. Now, bring this back to you create the neural capacity for more of the same of anything that you routinely focus on, in addition to the fact that we only have so much conscious capacity. So How does that all play out in gratitude? Most of the time, what are we focused on? Most of the time, we're focused on all the things that can go wrong, all the things that will go wrong, all the things that we're worrying about in the future, all the things we're obsessing about in the past. And maybe you remember back to when you were writing the good day, bad day, how easy it was for you to change your focus to something that had been hard in the past, or something that was stressful, and how hard it was for you to really allow yourself to focus on something that was good, something that was happy, something that was joyful. And so we just inherently tend to focus on all those things that are wrong. But if we're constantly focusing on all those things that are wrong, we're really just creating the capacity to see more of that. And when we see more of that, obviously, then we behave in that way. So how does this all have to do with gratitude? The first part of gratitude is you got to be able to see the things in your life that you truly are grateful for. And most of the time, we don't allow ourselves to do that. Most of the time, we're just so focused on all the challenges that we just don't even allow ourselves to see the gratitude all around us. And on top of it, we've kind of trained ourselves that way, because the more that we focus on the stress, the less able we are to see the things that we're grateful for. And now I am absolutely not saying that just suppress things if things really need to be worked out and processed and figured out, or just suppress things when you're not worried, when there is a true anxiety. And a lot of the time, we have multiple stories going on. A lot of the time, we have something that we can be grateful for just as well as we can be worried about. But the thing is that it's not a 50-50. Most of the time, it's the worry is 100%, and we don't allow ourselves to even see those things in our environment that we are grateful for. And again, if what you see or what your attention is focused on becomes your reality, then at least some of the time it might be a good thing to allow yourself to focus on the things that really are right in front of you. Those gorillas that we just absolutely miss because we're so focused on something else, or the color in the shirt change, or the change in sex, or the change in the roof colors that we just don't see because we are so hyper focused on other things. So what we're going to do to very begin with, and again, what I said about gratitude is a couple things. First of all, we need to see those things in our environment that we are grateful for. And then the second piece is that we really need to embody the experience of gratitude for it to be able to change us. So we're just going to focus on the first piece right now. So we're going to do a writing activity. So again, you need to get out the journal that you're using, or paper and pencil, or keyboard, or whatever you need to do. And what I want you to do is I just want you to allow yourselves, just allow yourself for a little while to focus on what are your gorillas. And again, gorillas or shirts or colored ceilings or whatever it was that you didn't see, those are the things that were in our environment that we don't see, because we're so hyper-focused on something else. And again, most of the time we're hyper-focused on the stress and the anxiety and the worry that we just aren't allowing ourselves to see something that might be right in front of our face that we truly are grateful for. So this activity is what are your gorillas? And just a quick little story here. A few years ago, I had a student in my class, and usually this activity is pretty impactful. And at the end of the semester, they always write about the most impactful activity. And a lot of times students write about this because they just don't see the gorilla, and then they realize how much they aren't seeing what is really, really present in their environment because they're so focused on the other things. And so at the very end of the semester, they can choose to really expand on a topic that was meaningful for them and write a whole paper about it. And so what one of my students wrote was, "My girlfriend was the gorilla." I used to title this activity just inattentional blindness, but when he came up with my girlfriend was the gorilla, I thought that was the greatest title ever. And what he did is he wrote about what had happened in his relationship. He was engaged, and his whole relationship was in the process of falling apart because he was very, very stressed out about work, very stressed out about school, and he would come home from work every day and just be totally stressed out and see everything from that lens. And so they were constantly fighting, and then the more that she said that, she felt she needed some more attention, then he would get angry, and you can't really see what's going on with me. And when we did this, he realized how much he was overlooking his girlfriend. And when he wrote about it in class the first time, it was like, wow, I feel like I'm falling in love with her all over again, because he was allowing himself to focus on it. And it was so impactful. So then what he started doing was just little things every day. Instead of just zoning out on TV, he would just ask her to watch TV with him. Not a big change. Or just notice something about her that she did and complimented. And it wasn't a forced thing. It was the things that were already in front of his face he was just blind to because he was focused on the other thing. And what happened through that process, he documented this process, is how his whole relationship began to transform back to the way it was when they were first together. And that was just, I just love that story because that was his gorilla. And so the first thing that we're going to do here is I just want you to take 10 minutes, right? I want you to pause the recording, and I want you to take 10 minutes, and I want you to let yourself really, really just sit back and reflect on those things in your environment that are in your everyday life that you might just be overlooking, and maybe not even completely overlooking, maybe not appreciating as much as you might really want to. Now, again, this isn't just meant to be kind of a verbatim list where you just start writing down everything you can think of. What it's meant to do is change to an embodied experience. So what I want you to do is just pick 2 or 3 things and really explain in detail what it is that you're grateful for, why it is that you're grateful for them, and just kind of really let yourself begin to focus again a little bit more in detail about those things that are right present for you with some detail. So pause the recording and write. Okay, so now hopefully you've experienced from an embodied sense what gratitude really feels like, because that's going to become a real important piece in just a few minutes. And also hopefully now you realize how important it is to really place your attention on the things that you're grateful for. One more thing about attention is attention often can be voluntarily placed. In other words, sometimes it's automatically coming from our environment, but other times it's our attention is our choice, and it can be voluntarily placed on things. And what I just asked you to do was kind of voluntarily place your attention on some of the things that you're grateful for. So now we're going to go into the second piece. I've said often that authentic gratitude is life transforming, and I keep using the word authentic. Well, what does that mean? How can gratitude not be authentic? I'll tell you how it cannot be authentic, because this is the biggest pitfall that people have when they practice gratitude, right? Sometimes other feelings are really the primary feeling when we think that we're practicing gratitude, because it's really from a cognitive place that we're practicing. In other words, I'm going to think about the things that I ought to be grateful for, but instead it brings up a different embodied sense. So when you go back to everything that we've talked about so far in the first 2 pieces of this series, anytime you experience something, again, an internal experience that carries a whole mind-body change, anytime you really internally experience something, you carry the physiological imprint of that. So gratitude can't be something that you're thinking about. It has to be something that you're really experiencing. So let me tell you a couple ways that it might not work. Let's say I think I ought to be grateful for something that somebody's done for me. But in reality, I really feel unworthy. And instead of being able to really focus on that sense of gratitude, that feeling of unworthiness is the most present for me. Now, maybe that's something I need to go back and work on, but at least in the gratitude practice of it, I'm not embodying gratitude, I'm embodying unworthiness or indebtedness. Sometimes it's somebody does something for us that feels that we're so appreciative for, but we really feel indebted because, it's like, how could I ever pay somebody back for something that they did for me? And again, you can go back and process and heal these things at a different time. And we're going to talk about how you do that in a couple further sessions down the road. But as far as the gratitude practice, again, if I'm feeling indebted or I'm feeling unworthy, then those are the embodied experiences that are my truth. Even though I think I'm thinking gratitude, the embodied experience is what I'm molding to. So it's not an effective practice of gratitude. Or many times people, really believe in the gratitude list or the gratitude jar, and I'm not putting those down at all, as long as it's a really felt sense. But often people will think, okay, I got to write down 10 things I'm grateful for tonight. And they're busy and they're doing other things. And instead of really feeling good about the things they're grateful for, they're feeling pressured, like I'm supposed to be doing this. I'm a shameful person if I don't focus on that. So what's really coming up is the shamefulness, or the part that, oh my gosh, it's just one more thing I have to do. That's the authentic feeling. Another pitfall that people have is thinking that they should feel something, grateful for something that they're just not grateful for in the present moment. In other words, I have students a lot, oh, I should think about my boyfriend or my girlfriend, but in reality, they're really angry at them. Or anything on the list that we write down like kind of as the should, right? I should feel grateful, but that's not really my true experience in the moment. And so again, we're going to bring this back around to what is your authentic experience and how do you cultivate an authentic experience of gratitude and really feel that? Because the more we experience anything, the better we get at that experience. So it's not about blame, shame, judgment for yourself about all the things that aren't on your list. It's not about blame, shame, judgment that I can't feel grateful for this at the moment. That's not what it's about. What it's about is really trying to cultivate a really authentic feeling of what gratitude is. Okay, so what I've said from the very beginning is it's your experience that changes you, and every moment of every day you're transforming. So this whole program is designed to get more experiential as we go. The first couple sessions were really about laying the foundation for what this all looks like, what your whole mind-body complex looks like when it's working together, how it transforms to your experience. And then we started shifting at the end of the last session, so then how can we change our experience that we can begin to embody more calm and connected way of living. So again, this is designed to get more experiential as we go. That means I'm going to talk less and you're going to do more. So in just a little bit, I'm going to give you some activities to do that you can really, hopefully, bring up a really authentic felt sense of gratitude, not the perfunctory list, not, oh God, I should feel grateful, but I'm really not, or I should feel grateful for this person, but I'm really mad right now. None of that, right? We're just going to really try to focus on what for us right now is that experience, that embodied experience. Again, you know it when you feel it, and whatever you're feeling is what you're transforming to. So, but before we start with that, we need to kind of talk about what is gratitude, because usually people think gratitude is being thankful for something that somebody did for you. And absolutely, that is true. Although with all the research in gratitude that has come out in the last several years, the whole definition of what gratitude has been kind of expanded to just a feeling. It certainly can include some being grateful for somebody's presence in your life, or somebody, what they have done for you, absolutely. But also it might just be a sense of gratitude for your health, or a sense of gratitude for being able to get out in nature. It could be just kind of a general sense of gratitude for people's presence in your life. It could be more of a general sense of just appreciation, just resting in the felt experience of appreciation. It usually involves something or someone, but it could, that something or someone could be pretty broad in definition. So again, it's just kind of that embodied sense of true appreciation. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about some different activities and some different practices that you can go that are really meant to bring up that embodied sense of gratitude for you. So I'm going to give you a new twist on the gratitude journal. And if you have never done a gratitude journal, or you just don't even know what that is, don't worry about it. I'll talk about that in a minute. But common practices of the gratitude journal is, again, to list, every day, just kind of list 40 things you're grateful for, or 20 things, or 10 things, or whatever, or put something in a jar every day. And again, those are great practices, but this activity is designed to really intentionally bring you into a deeper experiential state of gratitude, because those may or may not, especially if some other feeling or thought is dominating your consciousness as you're doing it. So the idea behind this, a new twist on the gratitude journal, is that you write about fewer things, but you write from a really embodied sense of something that you really, really kind of consumes your whole mind-body complex in the felt sense of gratitude. So what does that look like? What you're going to be doing is you're going to be focusing on anywhere from 1 to 3 things. It's not about trying to find as many things as you can. It's not about feeling indebted, like you got to feel grateful for everything in your life, because we don't feel grateful for everything in our life. The idea is to pick 1 to 3 things that you really, really, really feel grateful for at that moment. Again, it's not something about trying to force yourself, because I know I should feel grateful about this, but I'm really not feeling that right now. It's something in that immediate moment. I want you to pick 1 to 3 things, and I want you to really journal vividly about what it is about those things. Right? What it is about that person, or what's the felt experience of being in a place in nature, or what's the felt experience of being grateful for a memory. And I want you to, so again, rather than listing many things, or several things, or just listing, what I want you to do, again, is kind of give yourself 10 to 20 minutes, whatever feels comfortable for you. So you don't feel like you're going to get lost in the writing, but it gives you enough time to settle into that feeling. So set a timer, right, from 10 to 20 minutes, whatever feels most comfortable for you, and focus in on, like I said, just really 1 or 2 things. But what I want you to do is just write in a way that it really brings up that embodied sense. So focus on the details. Why does it make you feel that way? How does it make you feel? So really, again, it's like digging much deeper with just many fewer things, with the end goal is to bring up that embodied experience, because again, it's the embodied experience that we transform to. And so the other thing is that if contrasting feelings come up, if you're writing about something and all of a sudden you feel, oh, I'm kind of feeling unworthy, or God, I feel kind of indebted, then don't go there. We'll deal with those later. Right now, for gratitude to be effective, what you want to do is focus on things that you really are grateful for. So just notice. Notice if other feelings come up. Notice if you are feeling something ambivalent that's not really sincere gratitude, and just don't write about that thing. Pick something else. The other thing is that I had a student one day go, oh, God, I've been doing this every day and I'm running out of things to write about. You don't have to pick something new every day. You can be writing about the same thing. The idea is to go into the felt experience. Give yourself 10 to 20 minutes of really resting in that felt experience of gratitude. The truth is, I still do this myself every day. And the truth is, I'm writing often about the same things in my life, because there are some things that I am just so grateful are a presence in my life, and it's okay to keep writing about them. It's okay. It's not a challenge. It's not a cognitive challenge of how many things can I think of. What it is really, again, focusing on that felt experience. So it doesn't matter if you're writing about the same things. You might want to be writing about some other detail about it, or maybe some instance that brought up that feeling of gratitude to change it up a little bit, but it's totally okay to be writing about the same things. Again, the goal here is to just really focus on resting in that embodied sense. And the more you can focus on detail, the better. Again, this should be done in stream of consciousness writing. So meaning that you're not trying to think about sentence structure or grammar or make it grammatically correct, anything like that. You just want the pen to lead you, because the more that the pen leads you, the more you can rest into your felt experience. So your gratitude journal is going to be one of the assignments that you're going to do for your homework. And I'll tell you kind of specifically what that homework is in a minute, but I just kind of wanted to give you an idea. And again, you may want to come back to the recording and kind of read this back over and read what this journal really is. So then another twist on the gratitude journal is to write a letter. If it's somebody or people, or there are people in your lives that you feel really grateful to, a really powerful exercise is to write them a letter. And you don't necessarily have to mail it. You don't have to bring it to them. It doesn't have to go any further than on your piece of paper. But when you are really, instead of just writing your own feelings, when you really kind of imagine yourself as expressing the gratitude, it just kind of ratchets up that mind-body experience a little bit more. If you can actually set up a meeting, if that person is still living, if you can actually set up a meeting and read the letter to them, it's even more powerful. Or if you want to mail it. But again, that's not a requirement, and it could be somebody that's deceased. You could just be writing letters to deceased people. So it's not really about the fact if you ever really deliver it or not. Although, again, a powerful practice is actually being able to read the letter to the object of your gratitude, because then it even, again, really embodies those experiences even more. But again, that's just kind of a variation. You might want to do both. You might want to focus on writing in your journal one day, but then the next day, instead of writing the journal, you might want to write a letter to somebody and just kind of express it in that way. Whether or not you ever mail it isn't the issue. Okay, so then the other thing that we're going to talk about is the practices of gratitude. So again, practices are a huge part of this program, because practices are what really cultivate the intentional experience. And the more often you have an experience, the more you mold to that experience. So if you are intentionally cultivating experiences of gratitude through these practices, the more that you're going to actually mold to that. And again, when your neural nets form to feelings of gratitude, what happens then is you are just naturally drawn to now noticing those things more often in your life. And when you notice those things more often in your life, then you act on those things more often in your life, and your whole attitude begins to change because you're focusing on gratitude. So it's not just about feeling good in the moment. You really are retraining your brain to be able to see things in your life that are there, that you are appreciative of. You're training yourself, back to the beginning metaphor, you're training yourself to see those gorillas. You're training yourself to see what we might not see often. And not only what we might not see often, but then we make choices and behaviors and reactions based on those things that we're seeing. So if you go back to that spiral of becoming, this is where that downward spiral becomes an upward spiral. And one of the things that is so true right now because of our physical isolation, because of our physical distancing, that loneliness is huge, huge right now. And one of the biggest things I said at the beginning of this program, but I'm going to repeat because it's so important right now, is that gratitude, the practice of gratitude cuts down on feelings of loneliness. Because we're now, again, we're practicing gratitude. A lot of times gratitude has to do with appreciation for a person. It doesn't always have to, but we see a lot of the social networks in the brain light up. And so the more often that those social networks in the brain light up, the more we feel connected. And so the practice of gratitude really helps us feel more connected to other people, to the rest of our life, to society as a whole. So the practice of gratitude right now, even though that might not be what you're currently experiencing, because there are so many conflicting things coming in right now, just take, again, and it's not 100% of the time, but most of the time, 100% of the time, we're focusing on all the things that are wrong. So at least part of the time, if you can cultivate an authentic experience of gratitude, then that begins to shift really the whole way you're perceiving everything in your environment. Okay, so the grateful practices, we have two grateful practices. One is called everyday gratitude. Everyday gratitude asks you to just pause. Again, so we had in the moment practices and we had sustained practices. The in the moment practices ask you to pause in the many moments of your day and be able to refocus your emotional attention. Because every time you refocus your emotional attention, again, you're retraining your neural nets not to go to those 60 to 80,000 negative and repetitive thoughts, but you're actually retraining your neural nets to go to those thoughts of gratitude and thoughts of seeing appreciation in your everyday life. So what does everyday gratitude ask you to do? It asks you to pause. Just in the moment again. So the same thing, notice, just notice kind of where you are right now. Refocus, again, just relax your eyes, your shoulders, your chest. Again, that just makes you more receptive. And again, this only has to take a split second. And then focus on something that you are really grateful for. Just at very moments during the day. It could be something that's going on right in the moment. It could be that you just take a moment and think about something. Just take a moment and think about something. But the more that you do that in just the smaller moments of the day, the more you retrain your neural nets right in those moments. Right in those moments. So everyday gratitude, again, it's kind of like the power of pause or present moment awareness or heart in the moment, where you're actually taking a moment in the middle of your day, but then intentionally shifting your focus to gratitude. Okay, so then the very last practice, and we're going to do this in a minute. I would highly, highly, highly encourage you to do this as much as you can. Again, I'm going to give you your homework. Your homework says you only need to do it once, but it really encourages you to do it more because you mold to experience. So the more you have any experience, the better you get at that experience. So the more you practice these tools, especially the really deeper guided meditations, the better you're going to get at what those tools are designed to give you. So a grateful heart then is going to lead you through all the steps in the heart practices. So you're just going to kind of notice kind of your level of activity, and then you're going to refocus all your physiology, and then you're going to get deep into a meditative state and really focus on a sense of gratitude. So it could be something that you wrote about in the gorilla. It could be something that you've been thinking about as we've been going through this. But I want you to really focus on the felt sense of something that for you right now brings up a really deep sense of gratitude. And then the idea is to really embody that experience. So for a lot of people, not for everybody, but for a lot of people, images bring up that felt experience. Focusing on the details about what it is about that experience helps it. But again, so grateful heart is one of the heart practices. Notice, refocus, nurture. The nurture step is when you're going to be really bringing up that felt sense. Now, again, I'm going to lead you through it. So I lead you kind of through the introduction, and then I'm going to lead you through just a whole lot of physiology things that's going to be able to calm you and really make you receptive to the experience. And then you're going to go into a felt sensation of what gratitude really feels like. But before we do that, we need to talk about your homework. Okay, so for your homework, you're going to just turn in the What Are Your Gorillas exercise that you've already done in this video. So hopefully you are done with that. If not, that's what you need to do to complete. It's also in your book, so you can also look at the description in your book. And then, so that's going to be one exercise in reflection. And then for the next 4 days or 4 days throughout this next week, I'd like you to write for 10 to 20 minutes each time, reflecting deeply on a source of your gratitude. Again, just go back to how it's explained in chapter 5. I don't want you to list a trillion things, and I don't want you to force yourself to feel grateful for something that you really aren't, or you feel indebted, or you feel conflicted about. The idea is to really focus in on some things, anywhere from 1 to 3 things that you truly, truly feel grateful for. And again, it kind of walked you through this in the video, so you may already be done with it. These two, you may just have to kind of put them together enough to be able to submit them as your exercise and reflection. So you're going to submit the What Are Your Gorillas, submit the 10 to 20 minutes writing every night exercise. And then your 2 practices this week are going to be everyday gratitude. And again, that's an in the moment practice, just like heart in the moment. Only what you're going to do is you're going to stop, and instead of just bringing up a good feeling, it's going to be a feeling of gratitude. So it's still the notice, refocus, and nurture step, but when you go to the nurture, you're nurturing a sense of gratitude. That's an in-the-moment practice. So you stop in any moment of any day. And again, I'm asking you to do it at least twice for 4 days, and just stop. Again, pause and just really bring up a felt sense of gratitude, and you'll be recording those times in your heart log. And then grateful heart is the sustained practice. So again, you're going to need at least 25 minutes. It's again, a guided practice. I'm going to end this video with that practice. You can go straight into this practice if you want, or you can click it on the further down part of the of Blackboard. And so again, that's a deeper sustained practice. And then I just want you to write a summary of your experience with that. So then you're going to turn in the summary of your experience with the grateful heart as well as everyday gratitude, a paragraph each, and submit that under the summary. So you're going to be submitting 3 different things this week. Again, the gorillas, the journal, but again, it's a different take on the journal, and then the summary of your practices. And then what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to go into the grateful heart practice. Again, you can do it now if you'd like, or you can just come back to it when you have a different time and a different place, and you can click on the other link. So what we're going to do is we're going to get ready for the final practice. And again, so for the final practice, you're going to need an uninterrupted space and time. It's going to be about 25 minutes for the practice, and then a couple more minutes for the introduction. You can lay down, you can sit up, it's totally up to you, but I do lead you through some kind of physiological relaxation exercises to make you more open. So some people like to lie down, you don't need to, whatever feels comfortable for you, but it does need to be a space where you can be comfortable in going into kind of some deep emotional spaces, and also the time that you can be uninterrupted. You may want to pause the recording until you get yourself situated for the practice. Grateful Heart Introduction. Grateful Heart builds on the experience of the last practice, Sustained Heart, but in it you will focus on a deeply felt experience of the specific emotion of gratitude. Grateful Heart It is built on the notice, refocus, and nurture steps of all the heart practices, but in the nurture step you will now deeply embody the intentional experience of gratitude. Refer back to your gratitude journal and the "What are your gorillas" exercise you completed in the text. Recalling that for the practice of gratitude to be effective, the feelings must be deeply and authentically felt, not faked, coerced, or overshadowed by feelings of unworthiness or indebtedness. In grateful heart, you will rest in the felt and deep experience of gratitude for something in your life for which you can feel authentically grateful. It may be a person, place, thing, or global sense of something in your life for which you feel appreciation. Referring back to your journal or the gorilla exercise may help to bring something to mind, but don't feel held to those images if another comes up during the practice that you feel drawn toward. Go with that feeling. If the images shift and change, or you don't hold an image at all, that is perfectly fine. Remember, it is the felt experience that is most important. Find a place that you can sit or lay down comfortably for about 25 minutes. Keep your journal close, as you may want to record your experience or any insights that come up right after the practice. Grateful heart practice. As we begin, let your awareness find your breath. Let your awareness find your breath at a focal or still point in your torso that feels comfortable for you to immerse yourself in the experience of breathing. It's not a controlled breath. It's a very comfortable, very natural breathing pattern where you can feel at one with your breath. If it feels comfortable to do so, extend the out breath just a little bit longer than the in breath. If you'd like, you can repeat the word release silently to yourself on every out breath. And as you do so, physically feel the sensation of release throughout your mind and body. It feels like your whole body is releasing a deep sigh. If it feels comfortable to do so, add in a couple of intentional and audible sighs. Physically feel the sensation of release throughout your mind and body. As we go through the meditation, somewhere in the background, keep part of your awareness always on this breathing pattern. Now notice where your thoughts are. Don't engage in the thought, but just notice. Notice your thoughts from a third person, witnessing or observing point of view, almost as if you were observing somebody else's thoughts. From this disengaged point of view, you might not even notice the content of your thoughts as much as the activity of your mind. Again, just notice. Notice if there is anything particularly present in your thoughts for which it might be helpful to promise yourself you will go back and address at another time, if they can just let you be for the time being. Acknowledge them and promise yourself you will do so. And feel those thoughts beginning to gently drift away. Now notice what you're feeling. Again, from a third person, witnessing or disengaged point of view, maybe even with a little curiosity. Don't engage in the feeling, just notice. Possibly as if you were observing someone else feeling that way. Maybe even with a little disengaged curiosity or surprise. Notice that what you are feeling may or may not have anything to do with what your thoughts are. Again, just notice. Notice the context and texture of what you're feeling, and notice if it comes from a different part of your body than where your thoughts are manifest. Don't think about it too much, just notice. Notice if there is anything particularly present in what you are feeling for which it might be helpful to promise yourself you will go back and address at another time, if these feelings can let you be for the time being. Now notice your bodily sensations. Do a quick body scan from your toes, very slowly up through your body, and notice particular places of sensation, anxiety, or discomfort. Again, just noticing without judgment or engaging in the sensation. Notice the context and texture of those bodily sensations. Maybe noticing with a distant curiosity. Keeping a disengaged point of view, notice if there is an emotional component associated with the sensations. Notice the context and texture of those bodily sensations, and notice if they carry for you some intuitive message. Just listen and be open with a receptive and non-judgmental full presence without thinking about it or analyzing. Now we will refocus your physiology to allow you to be able to go deeper in the meditation. Continuing to keep your background awareness always on your breath, bring your foreground awareness and attention to your eyes. Release the stress and tension throughout all the tiny little muscles around your eyes, muscles all through the eye sockets and behind your eyes. Now release all the tiny little muscles throughout the rest of your face, around your cheeks, your jaws, your eyebrows. It may feel like you are losing all expression on your face. Now release through your shoulders. Let your shoulders fall down and back as you are releasing the tightness surrounding them. If it feels comfortable to do so, very slightly and gently raise your sternum, which is the midline bone of your rib cage. Now bring all of your awareness back to your breath at a focal point in your torso that feels comfortable for you to fully immerse yourself back to the experience of breathing. Now imagine a wave of relaxation starting at your toes and coming through and around your body.
I will name body parts, and as the wave of relaxation concentrates on and makes its way through each body part, deeply feel the sensation of release and relaxation of those same body parts. So this wave of relaxation is starting at your toes, making its way through the balls of your feet and deep into the tissue of the arches of your feet, very slowly up through your ankles. And now this wave of relaxation is slowly making its way up your lower leg, and you can feel the deep sense of release of the muscle tissue of your calf and back and your shin in front. And very slowly now this wave of relaxation is making its way through your knee joint, and you can feel the sensation of release through all the tendons and ligaments that hold that joint together. And now this wave of relaxation is making its way slowly up your thigh, and as it does so, you can feel it deeply penetrating the muscle tissue in the front of the thigh, the muscle tissue in the back of the thigh, feeling the deep sense of release all throughout your thigh. Now this wave of relaxation is making its way through your hip joint. And as it does so, it is deeply releasing all the muscles and tendons and ligaments that hold the joint together, and you can feel a deep release through the whole joint. Now this wave of relaxation is slowly making its way up your lower torso. You can now feel a deep sense of relief through your whole pelvic girdle, your lower abdominal area, your lower back. Now it is slowly making its way on up to about the height of your waist, and as it reaches your waist, bring all your awareness now to your back. Now this wave of relaxation is concentrated, traveling up your back muscles, starting at the muscles on either side of your spine, deeply penetrating and releasing the muscle tissue as it makes its way up. Now it is releasing all the muscle tissue surrounding your shoulder blade area and into the shoulder joint itself, and you can feel your shoulders letting go of any residual tension, falling further down and back as your body lets go and releases. And now this wave of relaxation is simultaneously making its way down each arm, first deeply penetrating and releasing the muscle tissue of your upper arm, and down through the elbow and down through your forearm and into your wrists, your hands, your fingers, and you can feel a profound sense of release of all the stress you typically carry all through your hands. And now this wave of relaxation is at the base of your neck, and it is slowly traveling up the back of your neck, deeply releasing the muscle tissue of the neck as it progresses. And now it is at the base of your skull, like a cap beginning to unfold and encircle your skull. Imagine this cap of relaxation slowly unfolding around the top and the sides of your skull simultaneously, and as it does so, you can feel yourself letting go of any residual stress or tension that you typically carry all through your head. And now it is like a curtain coming down all across your forehead. This wave of relaxation is slowly making its way down over your forehead, gently over your eyebrows, deep into your eye sockets, and releasing any residual tension and all the tiny little muscles surrounding your eyes. Now releasing all through your face, your cheeks. It feels like you are losing all of your expression on your face. Now it is traveling around your chin, your jaw, down into your neck and throat area. And now this wave of relaxation is approaching your chest area, and once again you can feel your rib cage opening and releasing any residual tightness or tension. You may feel a very slight rise in your sternum, feeling of expansiveness. And now all your awareness is back to being fully immersed in the experience of breathing at a focal point that is comfortable for you. There's nothing left but you and your breath. Now, if it feels comfortable to do so, cultivate a tiny little smile and notice how the sensations of your body shift. Now, you will nurture an intentional state of gratitude. Remembering the requirements of true gratitude, that it be authentic and not forced or overshadowed by any opposing emotions, lend yourself to the deep and vivid felt experience of what for you is authentic gratitude. It could be for a specific person, place, or thing, or it could be a general sense of appreciation for life or something in your life. In your mind's eye, scroll back over your gorilla reflection in your gratitude journal. See if something that you wrote about sparks for you a deep sense of gratitude right now. Or if something else intuitively comes up for which you can feel a deep sense of gratitude, focus on that. The idea is to gently scroll through persons, places, things, events, or general concepts in your life for which you can feel a deep sense of true gratitude and soak in the felt experience of that emotion. Deeply imagine what it is about the object of your gratitude that brings up that felt sensation in you. Is it something someone has done for you? Is it a general sense of appreciation? Is it someone that is consistently there for you? How does the experience of gratitude feel in your body? Deeply focus on the sensations. Reimagine this experience of gratitude and authentically feel it in every cell of your body. Focus on the details. Engage your senses. What is your body posture like? What is the expression on your face? Gently raise your sternum and deeply feel this experience throughout your whole body. Immerse yourself in this deep sense of gratitude and feel it in every cell of your body. I'm going to be silent for a few minutes for you to feel a deep sensation of gratitude in a way that is right for you. During this time, fully immerse yourself in the felt experience of true gratitude. Now, ever so slightly, bring a subtle shift in awareness to yourself deep in the meditation. Don't come out of it. It is more like you are observing or witnessing yourself deep in this state. Continuing to bring an awareness of yourself deep in the meditative state, pause and reflect. Notice if any intuitive insights come up, which may or may not be formulated in words. It is important to spend some time in awareness of this liminal state or in-between state, as it integrates the parts of your brain to more easily access the meditative state in your conscious moments. Spend a few more moments in this liminal state. Through a witnessing awareness of yourself deep in this meditative state, try to make a cellular memory of this experience. In other words, it is like you are trying to cement this experience in every cell of your body. Now, at your own pace, begin to bring a little more awareness to how you're feeling, and a little more awareness to the sensations of your body. Move your hands, move your toes, ever so slowly and at your own pace. Make sure you re-ground yourself in your body by moving your arms and legs. Making sure you are re-grounded in the room you are in. Take several deep breaths in and open your eyes when you feel comfortable. Pause and reflect for several moments and notice any insights and reflect on your experience. Jot down any thoughts about your experience that you might want to hold on to. Spend a few moments journaling if it is appropriate. It is a very, very rich time to journal, as many insights will continue to emerge as you bring your experience to more conscious awareness through the stream of consciousness writing process.